Hello, everybody, and welcome to your daily lighting critique. Andre is continuing on our long tradition of posting things to Discord that are totally normal and totally fine, but for whatever reason, Discord reads them as nudity. I think Aaron had one a while back where he was doing it. I think it was Aaron who was doing a dinosaur and couldn't post the dinosaur because it was reading it as nudity too. So this lewd situation of this woman in a kitchen with a light colored top chopping up vegetables is too much for Discord. So, Andre, you win the prize. You got 2 submissions posted today. You said you were feeling productive, so we'll go ahead and start off with you. So talk to me about where we are. I know you said you were working on the materials. Do you want to just look at the lighting? Is there other stuff you want to cover? Because I know the materials are still in progress, I think.
Well, yeah, materials are still in progress, but actually, right now, I'm open to any suggestions because really, not sure where to go from here, materials wise. Also, there's just she has a smudge on her arm and on her neck, which were supposed to go on her eyes because they were supposed to be an eyeliner, and obviously, I guess UVs doesn't agree with me, so.
I don't know everything about the human anatomy, but I know that's not where the eyes are. I know that's not where eyeliner goes. Overall, I think starting with the environment, I think so. What you're doing is a tricky balance between, making things look unique, but also creating a cohesive look. And I think that you're balancing that really well. Like each one of the objects, I'm just kind of going around and identifying each one has the qualities of the surface, and there are things like the fruit is desaturated, but I think that actually works for this because it's not pulling us away from the character or anything. The other thing, the only thing I would say about some of this stuff is the blacks, especially the stuff in the sink, is super jet black. I would just kind of lift those. In terms of the character itself, I like the I like the jeans. I like the stitch work that you got in there. The shirt seems good. Yeah, just I actually like the idea of there being some this is one of those where there's an accident that can happen, but it leads to good things because you're oh yeah, maybe she does have a birthmark on her arm, or maybe she does have a little mole on her neck or something. I don't know. It's nice to see these in there as being oh, maybe there are maybe she does have a little scar on her arm, or whatever the case may be. I think that would be. I think there's actually some good value in that. And then the other thing that I was going to say was just making sure, and again, this is going to be a UV thing once you get that sorted, but just making sure that the individual components of her skin start to differentiate themselves. Her lips look a little different than the rest of her skin tone. Her eye, the areas around her eyes have a little bit more blue, just to kind of And just making sure, because I think one of the problems comes up when we just think about it as being just skin, or just just one surface, and really I just dropped my weight count pencil. Hold on, sorry. And one of the things is just identifying those different components and looking into some reference. The lips are going to be a little bit darker than the rest of the skin tones. There's going to be the vertical lines in them, which again, we're not going to see too much of at this distance, but just getting an indication of that stuff is good.
Yeah. I think she did have lipsticks and eyeliner. The eyeliner went out on the arm and the neck. I don't know where the lipstick go. Probably some place in her back or something.
Right.
But I did have lipstick on her.
Okay.
It just didn't come through, so I have to fix that.
The other thing too I thought would be kind of cool is making sure that knife is nice and metal, because it's in the sunlight, which you might be able to get some caustic reflections off of it. Would be kind of cool. If there was a little bit of a reflection kind of bouncing around in this little cubby space by the phone, of just light bouncing off of that, a little caustic-y thing. And then in terms of the lighting, the value outside the window is good. I think we'll eventually, once you get into more compositing, do some kind of bloom or a little diffusion up there to have that light coming in. I think the light on the countertop can actually go a little bit brighter too. Okay. I think I would actually push the key light a little bit stronger, because again, it's just the balance of interior versus exterior light. I think we can go a little bit more. And I'm just looking at the environment. I think it looks pretty good on the character, but like on the countertops, I think it could go a little bit brighter. But the position is good. Again, you're doing a really good job getting the specularity on the skin to kind of break up some of these shapes. Like a little bit of like almost like it's tough to tell because it's a little bit lower res, but it looks like there's almost like a little bit of like pores or almost like peach fuzz on her arm, which looks really nice. Yeah, and then the only thing I would watch out for is right on the edge of this counter, it looks like the material is stretching vertically a lot.
Yeah,
So
I have to fix that too.
Yeah, just watch that. Watch out for that. I would also consider making these cabinets down below a little bit darker.
Okay.
Just because like they're again like it's not good for kitchen design to have cabinets in 2 different colors, but like just to kind of tone them down so it creates more of like a grounding value.
Uh-huh.
How are you feeling about it?
I like it so far.
Yeah.
I'm happy with where it is. I'm happy with the job that I've done on the materials, meaning I was able to actually do them, not necessarily that they are absolutely perfect, but you know, but yeah, I feel like there's still something missing.
Yeah. I think that it's like I think you're well on your way. It's just a matter of getting some of those like blooming final touches on there, and maybe a little bit more, maybe like finding some more opportunities. It's just like getting like bounce light again up in here from the bright surface, like kind of, yeah, just kind of getting those secondary lights in there. But I think it's good. I think it's like I said, a cohesive image that makes a lot of sense. That's and then once you get the materials in place, it'll all start to sing.
Cool.
Yeah. All right, cool. Let's take a look here.
I have one question.
Yeah.
Do you think that the eyes, the white of the eyes and the teeth are too white?
I think so. They're a little like, yeah, both. I think the pupils could be a little bit darker. I think the eye whites are okay. I think the pupils could be a little bit darker. And like what it is it's not so much the teeth here. It's just that I think her gums might be white too. It's like when she hits that pose, it's a little bit like we used to have this problem with the Ice Age characters. They would almost look like they had a mouth guard in. It was just like a white thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, just make sure that the gums are getting a little bit of color in there too.
Okay.
Cool. All right, great. Close on. And you've got this is yours, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Perfect. Okay. So first thing I noticed about it is that the I think we can go brighter on the bright values. If I do the levels,
Okay.
I think we can have a little bit more room to kind of push that up a little bit. Specifically, I like the detail that we're getting on this light, but it almost feels inverted, where it almost feels a little bit darker in the middle, and I think that would that's where the bulb is. So I would make that a little bit brighter.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
For the main scene down here, we've got. So I think we might just have two. Like it feels like there might be too many lights on. Because like I think that it's because we have this up here, like all the interior lights, the headlights on, and then another spotlight kind of over there. And I would like to minimize this down to, and it really depends on like if we're going for like a happier mood, like festive, it looks like they're packing up the car to get ready to go to a holiday party or a family member's house, or they got the tree, they're doing a whole thing. I feel like I don't want the headlights of the car to be on, because when that happens, it almost feels like at any moment one of these characters could be hit by the car, because then it turns it into not just like not a static object that you're loading, but like an active object that could move even though there's nobody in there. So I would keep the headlights off, just because like what you would need to do is like it would be really bright on this guy, and that would create almost like a sense of danger. So I would turn those off. I would kill the light over here. And then I'm thinking about just like keeping everything centered in here as these lights coming down.
Okay.
We can.
Should I add a little bit of a volumetric from the light on the top?
This one here? Or this one up here?
That one.
Yeah, probably a little bit. Again, it could even just be like tight right around the base of it, but I think that's a good idea. And then I would turn off some of the interior lights. Like I like this one back here because I like what it's doing to the tree back over there. But maybe this house, I would just turn like these off to kind of create that darker, to keep our focus here.
Okay.
Darken inside the house, maybe a little bit back there. Yeah. And then overall, I'm just gonna play with the color balance here a little bit. Overall, I felt a little bit on the like orange-red side of things. Like I would like to see a little more blues in the shadows. It just felt like there's a little bit of a sepia tone over top of the whole thing.
Yeah.
But I think that might be a lack of like it might be again like getting those contrast points in there too. Yeah. So a little bit of color balance, a little bit of contrast in there might help. And then yeah, and then what? So if we've got it narrowed down to just these lights in here, then we've got this light. We can realistically be like, okay, this guy's getting pretty frontal lit, and then these guys here would then be more like the front of this, like the front of this character would be lit, and it would be more like the back of this guy, and a little bit less light on the face. But that's how I would structure that one out.
Mm-hmm.
And then with this asset, there's a choice, and I mentioned this to I think everybody who does this, but there is a point where you have to make a distinction on the car itself between whether it is like an ornament or whether it is an actual automobile, because the material that's provided looks more like an ornament, like it's super shiny metal versus like car paint. So I'm fine either way, just something to be aware of.
Okay.
All right, cool. All right, Ruby. I thought I saw. Yes, Ruby, you're here. Are you on with us live?
Yes. Hello. Can I add something else to the
sure
reviews?
Like another image for this or for a different project?
It's for a different project. I was like playing with Unreal, so it should be there.
Yeah, let me check. This one?
The frog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Is this the image or is this the reference?
That's the top one is the image and the bottom one is the reference.
Got it. Okay, cool. All right, cool. I don't know why this makes me laugh. This is it's an unimpressed frog if I've ever seen one. I didn't think that they had that emotion, but that frog is not into that worm at all. Okay. Yes. All right. Cool. So the thing that I really like about this image is, well, there's like a clear hierarchy of, and again, you're probably like, I don't think there are kids in this one yet. No. So you've got the frog sitting on top, like really feeling royal, and quite lovely. I love the bounce light. Do you see this bounce light under the chin? Ugh, that's so nice because it's wet because it's almost like reflective, and you can see it on the arms too. It's really like a shiny wet surface. Love the kind of cool tones of the shadows, the warmth of this, the fact that it's very clear like where the staging is taking place. I think that you're in the realm here. The biggest things to watch out for is you definitely want to clear away a lot of the grass in like that's kind of between us and the frog itself. It's good. It's good as framing elements, but anytime it like starts to come over, it, especially when it's out of focus, it just kind of looks like an artifact as opposed to like actual grass. Unless this was like the first frame and we're actually like passing, like we're gonna pass through it. But eventually, when we're kind of at our hero point, we really want to focus in on the character. You've got some nice bounce light. Oh, good.
Oh, sorry. No. Yeah, I was gonna try to do like a camera movement, so I think that might be also like the grass is on the way. But yeah, I definitely need to clean up some of that for sure.
Yeah, just be aware of it. Like we like if it's meant to be like a thing that's hiding the character a little bit before you get to the hero shot, that's fine. But just be aware of that. The grass itself feels a little bit. I'm trying to think. Feels a little bit light in color. Like it feels like it would be nice to get some richer, darker greens mixed in with some of those lighter values. The frog itself looks good. Got light coming in this way, bouncing up. The bounce looks really good on there. Looks like there's even some subsurface happening. And then the other big one for me is the sky color in the background. It feels like pretty muted and clamped. Like I feel like that would be much brighter. I don't think we see the sky in this one. So I would either add in, like basically add even if it was just like an image back there from a distance to kind of block out the sky, so it's like a dense forest, so we're not seeing it. Or we'd have to make the sky light a lot brighter. It really depends on how you want to play up the character separating from the background. And I think we're going to do light over dark. So I would fill that in. And I don't know what the scene looks like, but either real trees or just some sort of image back there to kind of get that up. Get the bounce light coming in here. Yeah. Yeah, but other than that, the structure is looking good. I think this is all coming together well. And then watch out for like this vertical sticky thing sticking up. You just want to make sure to get some that's maintaining some good shaping on there too, because it's a little bit flat, like a little frontally lit right now. All right, and then as far as this one goes, I think this is really nice. I love like this. You're doing a really beautiful job with the scale of it. Star looks. I like the look of the star itself. I think the finger is a little bit on the yellow side. I think that the subsurface level is good at that scale and that size. And we've got the the nail on the finger, which is looking really good. But I just want to see. I think if we just push a little bit more, like into this color range, it starts to feel a little bit more finger-esque.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we got the characters there. I think if you can, let me see if I can isolate this too. The beards of the characters themselves are like the lighting on the character, the position, the shape, and everything's looking really good. I'm wondering. I'm gonna try this real quick. Do it this way. I want to like gamma or let's see if I can maybe expose this up. I want to just make the beard a little bit brighter. I'm blinking on it. And the reason why I was trying to find the curves is that I think I wanted to like whenever you're like color adjusting white values, it's tricky because I don't want to blow out the tops. Like I don't want to just make it brighter or multiply it overall, but I want to lift those midtones a little bit, which you can do in the gamma, or you can do it in the curves too. Depends on how you're compositing this. But yeah, like something along those lines, just to lift up the bottom level of the beards a little bit.
Of just the beard.
Yeah, just the beard color, just getting the midtones up a little bit, either through adjusting the curves like I just did, or doing a color correct in Nuke and adjusting the gamma up a little bit. Because gamma color corrections basically do that. Like if this is the curve, it pins the black point and the white point and just adjusts the values in the middle. That's why gammaing things can look a little strange, like it's flattening it out. But on white values, I really like to use it when I'm trying to brighten whites, because what it does is it doesn't take those brightest whites and blow them out even more. It just takes the midtones and lifts them a little bit.
Okay. Thank you.
The house itself is a little A-frame cabin. It looks really good. I just want to play with one other thing real quick. wondering if there might be just like a little bit too much red saturation.
Mhm.
So that maybe just toning that down a little bit will help. Yeah, but overall, I think this is looking great. I love, like I said, love the scale, love the shaping of the characters, love the setup. I would almost even consider. Ooh, here's something else too. I would almost even consider darkening the background a little bit more, or just taking down like some of the ambient light, so it really is about a connection, because we really want it to be about a connection between these two characters and the star. So maybe just toning down some of the external light around it just a little bit, just to like really play up that connection point between the two of them.
Okay, so can I remove some of the brightness from that wood post there?
Yeah. So really what it would be, and this is how I would do it like realistically. I would make like two. I would make like if I had everything in the scene all, no light linking or anything, I would do it as kind of two key lights. There's like a bigger, broader main light that's coming in that's essentially from this point, but it's kind of hitting everything, and make that about 30 or 40% of the overall value, and then take a smaller spotlight that's right around like this source point, and then just really focus it like right here on these characters, and then make that like the other. If the overall key light was like 40% of the value, make that like 60% of the value, or like however that ends up working out. But basically, I'd want their key light on them to be slightly brighter than everything else in the scene. But I still I want to still see like some key hits on some of these values, but on some of those objects, but just like really centering in the brightest area on those characters themselves.
Okay.
Cool.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome. All right. So let's go through here. All right. I didn't put names on these, and I always forget. Let's see. So we have Ronald. You're here. Let's see. Make sure I get the right submission for you. Scroll this out just a little bit. Let's see. All right, Carolina, you're. I thought I saw you hopping in. Ronald.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was.
There you go. All right. Oh, Carolina, you're here. Wait, are you? Yes. Okay, cool. Yeah. All right, we'll do yours, and then Ronald will do this one next. All right. Let's take a look here.
Sounds good.
All right, looking good out of the gate. Ooh, sheet music. Yeah, piano value looks a lot better. Yeah, she looks good. I mean, honestly, at this point, we're down to like some pretty minor tweaks.
It's like 10 o'clock.
And here are the main ones. Here are the main tweaks I would
Sorry.
do. Oh, hello.
Sorry, I didn't know I was not on mute.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, Karen. Okay, so the three things that I would work on with this are, I love that we can see the sheet music. It's a little strong for being the back side of the paper. I feel like I would take that down a little bit. So that's one. Two, there's still a couple points where I'm seeing like a lot of very saturated values in the inside the gums there. Oh, it's actually gonna be four things I'm gonna say. Number three, there's a bit of a highlight on her waistband as she's in the darkness. I would just make sure to tone that down, because it kind of pops off when she enters the light.
Okay.
And then the fourth one is, and this is just like what needs to happen at the end, just some additional eye work on the characters. Like just looking at the piano player out of the gate. Let's see. So that's looking okay. Because I kind of want to see. Yeah, actually, he's looking pretty good. Her eyes get a little, or kind of, I saw the gate. So she comes in. She should have. We've got some big eye dings there. They feel like they are, like especially this eye. It feels a little bit high. Like it kind of feels like it should be more on like the 2 o'clock position on her eye there, and then one thing that happens in here her eyes get a little bit, like then we kind of lose that highlight, the highlight and the reflections in there, in this pose. So I'd like to get the eye ding back in there. And then when she rests her head on this side, there's a lot of reflection over her pupil, and it kind of clouds up her eyes a little bit. So just like making sure that there are three main poses. Oh dang, that's my timeline. There's this one. That's pretty good. It just needs a minor adjustment to the eye reflections. This one that we need the eye dings in there, and then when she rests her head on the side, just need to clean that up a little bit. It's tricky. It's the tricky, like it's.
How can I do animating the light?
So there's a couple ways that you can do it. The way that I would do it on this shot, it depends on whether the source the reflections are coming from. Like if they're from the composite, you can just make keyframe adjustments in there. If I'm doing it in the light itself, I would make 3 different lights that function as her eye dings. And because like you're able. It's a shame she doesn't blink right here, but I think you can get away with it because she moves enough. So like keep the the lights that are reflecting in her eyes in position 1 all through here until she starts to move down. Then I would either animate those in a position 2 or have lights already in position 2 and just like fade one on and fade the other on. One fade one off and then the other on. That work in this position. And same thing, and then when she blinks, the second a character blinks, I'm shuffling lights around for the eyes like crazy. Because then once she opens her eyes, then she's in this position again. So you can you can hide a lot between when a character turns their head, when they move quickly, or when they blink, and you can adjust those, and the audience will never know.
Okay.
This is looking great. I mean, again, this is like super minor stuff. This is like.
The volume light, how you see that?
I think it's good. I think it feels good to me. I mean, the only thing that I would also consider adding is like you've got some really nice like highlights on this bench here, and I would. Can I do this? I would actually add, I love the diffusion and like I would just add a little bit of diffusion in there. So like, if I had this, let's see if I can do it in here. I don't know if I can do this in a video. Yeah, I cannot. Let's do it this way. Nope, not that. Ignore that little bit of the window at the bottom right there. But overall, I think you can add a little bit more diffusion to the shot as a whole. That's pretty heavy. But just to kind of get that extra layer of softness in there. And if you're doing this in mute,
that would be adding like the volume, but on him and the piano.
I would definitely not do it as a volume. I would do it as a post effect because this is like more of a camera lens thing. So I would do it if you're look in the tutorials, look in the courses for anything. I forget when I talk about how to do it. Probably in the compositing class, probably in the lighting for animation class, just about adding diffusion. And it's a pretty.
The compositing class.
Well, I'm sorry. Say again.
Sorry.
Sorry for interrupting. It's in the compositing class.
Oh, great. Thank you. Yeah, go look in the compositing class because basically what you're going to do is you're going to pull a key that highlights the brightest parts of the image, and then you blur them, and then you'll layer them back over the top again. And what that simulates is, the lens effect of a little bit of a bloom. And that happens on really bright patches of imagery. And it can really, really help soften the overall image in a way, like on something like this. Again, that's a little bit dreamlike, a little bit mysterious, a little bit wonderful, wondrous. I would add that on there.
Would you be able to use the glow node in Nuke?
The what, I'm sorry?
The glow node in Nuke?
Yeah.
Just
yeah.
type glow.
Yeah, you can. The one thing about the glow node is that you don't have as much control over the like the individual values. It's kind of happening under the hood a little bit. So you certainly can use it. I would just caution you not to like overdo it.
Overdo it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Cool. All right.
Do you think that maybe their eyebrows could be closer to?
Oh yes, that was the other thing I was going to say. Yes, you're absolutely right. Their eyebrows could match their hair color. Thank you, Andre. Yes. Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your good
He
note.
doesn't have a shader.
Yeah. Eyebrows match hair color usually, so that's good. Okay, cool.
Thanks.
Yes. All right, cool.
And after that, you should do a high-res render.
Yeah, I think so. I think you'd be good to do that. But it's looking great.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, cool. All right, great. Let's go and take a look at this. Okay, so skin tone's looking a lot better. Again, so much better than the base value that comes with this model. So you've done really, really well with that. I think the eye dings are looking good. I just want to add a little bit of color to them. They look a little bit like pure white. I would almost add just a touch of warmth to them to match the key light. Good value down here. I think I'm looking at the garment and the shirt, and like the specularity seems to be the same on the black and on the red. Ideally, it would be like if it was me, I would make it so like either the red component or the black component shimmered a little bit more, just to kind of break that up a little bit. Just because the specular highlight on the shirt itself is a little bit broad. Just to get like an extra level of detail in there would be really nice.
Right.
Yeah. Eyes are looking good. They're a little bit saturated. That would be the only thing that I would pull down on the iris color. Just like that much. Yeah, not a big change, but just a little bit less saturation on the irises. The hair. Let's see if we can do something with the hair. Just want to get a little more contrast in the hair itself.
Yes, I might have made it too rough.
No, I think it's looking good. I just like the hair on this character's always been a challenge, and that just the way that it was built, it could be a little bit tricky. That might not work, but it might just be. But yeah, getting just a little more contrast in the hair would be good. I think I went too far with the color, but.
What I see, all right.
Mm-hmm. Somewhere in there. Specular highlight on the nose looks better. The cheek looks better. There's something about the skin that's feeling a little bit metallic to me. Let me see. But I think it's close. Let me just see the reference again. Sorry, I'm just. It might be. You know what? Some of it is. This one last time. So I think these values are good. It's just like we're missing a little bit of shadow on the top of the head here. And then maybe a little more definition on the chin. So it's like a little bit darker right around the curvature of that to kind of get a little separation between the chin and the neck. It's tricky there. But yeah, really, really, like just I think a little bit of shadow on the head will work. And then maybe if you don't already have, if the skin color right now was one consistent value, I would just see if you could break it up a little bit and make, because you see how like the cheek, and I don't know if I might just be makeup, is a little bit warmer in tone than the chin. So just maybe separating that, like it's a little darker and warmer than the chin, and just creating a little more variation in the skin color across it, you know?
The shadow on the forehead, I might do that with light blockers, I think.
Yeah.
Because I've tried getting that before, but the hair is funky.
Yeah, give it a try with a light blocker. It just feels like the hair would cast some shadow up there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So give it a try. But this is looking really good.
All right.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
The eye dings, and I might be wrong, so it's actually a question. The screen left eye ding seems like it's closer to the nose, and it feels like they're not even with the other eye ding.
Yeah.
And is that?
Oh, it is not. Yes.
Yeah.
It needs to go over more. It's like staring at me, literally.
Yeah. Keeping them symmetric is a good one. That's a good call.
Right.
Cool. All right, great. Let's see. All right, this is Angela's. We'll come back. Let's see. Want to make sure. Is there anybody? Is Holly here? No. Was there anybody else? Anybody else on live that has work, or should we just go through the rest? All right, cool. All right, Angela. I think. I think this is looking good. I think we've got, like, I like that. It looks like we've got some more ambient occlusion underneath the car. If we added some over here on this character, let's go ahead and pull it off because there was just like a little bit of darkness there. And I think, I think it's, again, I did grab the right one. Let me just make sure of something real quick. Why is this out of order? Sorry, it's a little bizarre. There it is. Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. I just want to make sure. All right. So I think we would just, like, a matter of lightening up this middle area. Just a little bit more. I think, like, do you see how that Nutcracker's face is a little more readable now? Just to kind of keep that in that tone, and then I think just warm it up just a little bit. So yeah, just this center part, like where these main characters are, just brightening up that a little bit more, just to really make that our hero component. I think it's the last missing piece, because I think the background and the blur and all that stuff looks great. But like, yeah, because what's happening now, and I think my color tweak emphasized a little more than was already there, but like if you look at the darkness on the bottom side of the tire, generally speaking, in your shadow areas, you want those values to kind of match up. Between, like, this shadow should be about the same value as this shadow, and they're two different ones that causes a little bit of a disconnect. And it's same thing with this character here. Like, there's some super darks under here on the clothing itself, but we're not seeing that on the ground. And I think it's just a matter of lifting, like, finding out what's causing these super dark values and just lifting those up a little bit. There. So this is very moody. It's a really interesting shot. I think the biggest thing that I would work on, the A1 thing I would do is, like, I think there's a good value range from, like, the outside leading to the middle, but I think we can go brighter on an area, because again, here there's a character in here that's getting a little bit lost. Like that, sorry. And if we had, like, one level more of exposure, like just something a little bit brighter, on that main character. That's like the last component of the structure. Because right now I think we're kind of missing that brightest element. And if you had something like this, like the sun was just kind of creeping through the last little bit of something. It might be a little bit, again, too much. But like something like that to really focus us in on that very small character on the screen would be a nice little added value, because there's a lot of visual, I'm not going to use the word clutter, a lot of visual interest. Like there's lots of little sticks and little rocks and little shapes all over that it's very easy to lose track of this character here. And I feel like that's the center of interest. And then I would also, if there is snow falling, which I think it is, the shapes are very dark and they almost look like spots on the lens of the camera. So I would either pull off the snow or make the value of them much brighter. Not like super white so they're blown out or anything, but like, but just like snow falls, it's pretty clean and you don't want it to be of any kind of a darker value. This shot's looking a lot better from the last iteration that we saw. It's definitely feeling brighter, sunnier. I like that. I think there were like 3 things about this that I saw that I think could help. One is I think there could be more warmth in the key side. Like that feels a little bit neutral, and I want to just push a little more orange red in there. 2, a lot of these, like especially if you look in the foreground grass down here, we're not seeing a lot of cast shadows in there, and it's just feeling a little bit flat. And then number 3 is this shadow area feels a little bit saturated, and also we're missing some detail in there, because it's like once we lose the sky color, everything else is just kind of flattening out. It feels almost like an omnidirectional light, and that it's not casting shadows. So just make sure that there's some shadow casting differences in the fill value, just to create like underneath here, it should be darker around the base than down here, and same thing. With this, it should, like, you're going to get more bounce light around the base, and should actually be a little bit darker as you go up. So just finding variation in the fill values would be real important for this one as well. All right, Holly, it's looking really good. I love this. I love the characters in the scene so much. I think the sugar cubes are looking a lot better. This one feels a little bit yellow green, and again, I would just push it. I would just desaturate a little bit to make it feel a little bit more yellow. I think his highlights are good. His character looks good. I still want to get a little bit more of that key fill light on his face. Love the eye reflections in this guy. I'm also wondering too. Sorry, give me a sec. 2 things to worry that I'm curious about. One, just double check and make sure that the resolution on this tile is turned up to like 2K or so, because it looks a little bit low resolution now that the rest of the image is a higher resolution. And then I'm wondering if we can't do something to get some more variation on this pot itself. Like maybe it just feels a little bit matte, and like just a little something either in the roughness pass or the color pass, just to break up the value a little bit. It just looks a little bit too consistent. And then now that we're seeing again this in high resolution, these spoons kind of have I would smooth out the spoons if you can, because they look like, I feel a little bit of the, how do you want to say it? Like I can feel the polygons on it, like you feel like the straight lines as opposed to the nice curve. But yeah, overall, really, really good. This is your best work that you've done so far, I think. This is my favorite thing. This is my new favorite thing in the world. So it's okay. And then, oh yes, the setup. All right, I think that's all of them. Right? We get everyone? Yeah.
I added one if you have time. If you don't worry.
Sure. It's again, this is the last one I'm doing for the month, because we're coming up on the end of the month. Let's see.
That's why I thought I'd throw it in there. I have a whole list of things I'm working on already, but I thought, well, maybe we'll add some.
Oh, nice. What film is this from? Why am I blanking on this? This is like Pixar character. Oh, it's Ratatouille.
Andre, you would know.
Yeah, Ratatouille.
One of your favorite. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I just got to go to. I was just at Pixar on Friday. I just went there to visit some friends, and they. It's really cool there. Actually, they've got. They've got a specialty. Well, first off, they have a swimming pool on site, so there's that. There's also There's also a. Sorry, I'm realizing my camera is very dark. There's also a. Let's see, put that off there. There's also a. They have a Pixar unique shop that's like just for that's only sells merchandise that there. So you have like character designs of the characters. That's really neat. Anyway, sorry, that's way off topic, but it's cool. They've got like character sketches like turned into kids t-shirts. That's really cool. So it was super fun to go there. Anyway, okay. Let's take a look at this, and then we'll find that reference go. So one of the things that's really nice about this reference is that you can see this like dark shadow that's back here. It really helps like separate the characters from the background. So what I think we can do is find a way to create some shadowing from like an off-camera building or something that's a little bit stronger than we have here. Oh, hey, look at that! That's our characters from the cafe scene. I know those guys. And so that would be the biggest one in terms of
maybe just changing the texture, the materials on the buildings on the back also.
Yeah, just to darken them up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, could definitely work. Another thing that stands out for me is the ground texture here is there's a lot of displacement there. I would just minimize that. It feels like it'd be way bumpy. And then also at this level with the depth of field, like I think that these characters would be in focus, right? Because they would be our focal point. A shot like this you're going to do with a little bit of a telephoto lens, which condenses the space down a little bit. So I think that even like a little bit of the front edge of this table would go out of focus, and definitely this car would be out of focus. So I think that we can keep just the focus on the characters themselves.
Right. That's a last minute depth of field that I did just to submit to Lightbot. So I'm actually going to do the depth of field in Maya, so it'll be actually really nice.
Cool. Yeah, that's. I mean, ultimately that'll look better. It can be a little finicky if you want to make an adjustment. You just spent all night rendering something.
True, but it looked. I did it on a past project, and it just looks so much better. So it's worth the time.
I'm wondering if there's. Just because there's like some pinching points on their hips.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if we can hide those somehow. And I don't know how. Like maybe it's just pushing the chairs in so the arm wraps around it a little bit, or something. But just something to be aware of there. Is that?
Yeah, no, that's one of my notes too. It's the rig. They split the clothes when they bend, at least on her, and I fixed it on everything else except her skirt. I cannot. I don't know what it is. I have somebody else helping me, and they can't figure it out either. So I'm trying to make it really dark so that it's not visible.
I used to have somebody who would just say, "Oh, just take the contrast down," and then I was like, "I don't think that means what you think it means," because we get stuff like that all the time in the film. So, all right. So we've got the light coming in.
You can also try to fix it in Photoshop if it's not animation.
Yeah, if it's not animated, you can fix it in post too. But yeah, I think those are my big notes on this one. And
Perfect. That's what I have. That plus I have a lot of little details that I like the tree. I already have like spot on the tree to make gradient on that tree on screen right. Mm-hmm. Even the two of the back I have a little bit of gradient. I have a nitpicky list.
And anytime, even though these leaves look kind of drier, anytime that you can get specular highlights on the leaves would be really good.
Yeah, I have that. And again, this was like last minute. Throw nuke on there in a half hour just to get something to separate them from the back. So
Sure.
But yeah, I'm already on those things, so that's fantastic.
All right, cool. All right,
fantastic. You've hit everything that I've already thought of. So I'm already on path for that.
All right, cool.
That's so cool.
All right. Yes. See, that's where. Yeah. It's like I know. Like you know you're making progress when you can go to reviews and like you get notes. You're like, yes, I know. I need to do that. That's good. Okay.
No, that's the best feeling because you don't have something to add to the list.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. All right, cool. Guys, I do have to hop, but again, this is the last critique of the month. Thank you all so much. I will be back later in the year. I will also be more regularly on the Discord server, just answering questions and being around. So I've got one more written critique tomorrow, and that'll be it for the month. And then we'll have a new critiquer coming in a few days. So thank you all so much again for everyone who logged on to these sessions, logged on to the live sessions, and all the amazing, just everything that you all created. It's inspiring. Every day you all inspired me to do more of my own work too, which has been really cool. So I appreciate it, and thank you all. And I'll see you all very soon. So. We'll get more Ruby whoops in there soon. All right, take care. Take care, Andre. Take care, Ruby.
Yeah.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, talk to you all soon. All right.
Bye.